Hey everyone, my name is Jordan Markey, and I'm doing a podcast where I interview business owners here in the great city of Grand Blanc. We're starting off strong today, and I have the business owner of Great Harvest Bread Co. in Grand Blanc, Scott.
How you doing, Jordan?
Good, how's it going?
Good.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and about what Great Harvest Co. is.
Well, I'm a born resident of Grand Blanc. Went to school there, graduated in 1985. Left Grand Blanc to go to pursue corporate life in Indianapolis and Grand Rapids. Came back in 2000, and I purchased a franchise, which is Great Harvest Bread Company, with my father. Some things about Great Harvest people don't know is Great Harvest, yet it is a franchise. We're all individually owned, so we're not corporately run at all. Meaning our corporate cannot come in and tell us what to do, how to operate, who to hire, how to dress, what to bake. We do have certain guidelines, royalties, certain products that we do have to do. Most one of them being our honey whole wheat, which we mill our own wheat on premise, so that is a mandatory. But from there, it's their decision is you sink or swim, meaning you should know your territory. So you need to be involved. And if you fail, they don't come out and bail you out whatsoever. We don't do national advertising. So basically, you're left on your own to survive.
Wow, I did not know that, sink or swim. So, so what made you decide to come back to Grand Blanc?
That's a great question. When I was working over in Grand Rapids, yet is a beautiful town. Enjoy the things to do, from the lakes to the hiking to the outdoors. It just didn't fit me in terms of the surrounding, the community. It didn't feel tight to me. Grand Blanc, like I said, is my home. And after some thought of being there, I was probably there about 10 years. I thought it'd be a good fit to come back once my dad approached me about opening up the franchise. And that's kind of how we went from there.
And are you happy about that decision?
I am. It's been a tough road. We were now operating into our 21st year. Probably the first 15 were the biggest struggles between just people didn't know who we were. We're a very high-end product. However, we are a scratch-made product where everything is made from scratch every single day. We don't use mixes. We use all natural ingredients. And that's one of the reasons why our products are so expensive, is because it's all natural. Probably about year 18, we started to turn things around and really become noticed and part of the community. I think with COVID, it really helped us skyrocket. We were able to keep our doors open. We were deemed a grocery store because we do sandwiches, but yet, even though we were doing sandwiches, which is a small piece of our business, the bread side is what kept us in business. And we basically just skyrocketed from there. And honestly, I don't think we've looked back since.
Wow. So a lot of businesses did bad during the
Yes.
2020 era, but
there were many Great Harvests that folded as well. So, this was a worldwide pandemic. But I have a very, very strong staff, team members that have stuck with me. My baker, Chad, has been with me since day one. I hired him at 18 years old. He's still with me. He's a phenomenal baker. I couldn't be where I am without him. He's self-taught, self-trained. He's really a mechanic by, I don't want to say trade, but that's his strength. However, he's taken a side to the baking style of what we do. I can basically tell Chad what I want, the thoughts of what I'm looking for. And between he and I, we usually get it right most of the time. There's times we have failed, but our successes are greater than our failures.
Sure, yeah. Now, have you ever had fun with it? Told him like a cool idea that you had and it turned out good or bad?
Oh, many times. We're always trying different things. And the funniest thing we hear all the time at our store is, they'll buy something from us and never had a bad anything here at Great Harvest. And my line is always, because we're not going to put it out there for sale. So
right.
We've failed many a times, but there are things we've done from certain type of breads that might be a peanut butter and jelly bread, or something really that, when you're being creative, you want to do something that nobody does. You want to have that niche. And so we're always trying to think of outside of the box. Doesn't always succeed, and that's why you won't see it out on the counter. But when we do succeed, we're getting it out there into people's hands, wanting them to try it, buy it, and keep it going.
Yeah, I did a question on Grand Blanc Residents and Censored. I was like, what's your favorite product? And everyone had a different response.
Sure.
So there was like, not everyone just said cookies or the bread, but there was like from scones, all the way down the line. So you do make great products. So that's an awesome thing to have.
We do. One thing that people need to know is that we do probably about 8 different loaves of bread a day, styles of bread a day. And that's, There are some repeats in there. We're baking probably between maybe 150, 200 loaves of bread a day. But we do so much more. We do cookies, muffins, scones. We do protein bars. We do activity bars, which we call granola bars. We make our own stretch soups. We do sandwiches. We do salads. We do trail mixes. So we do more than just bread. We're a very well-rounded bakery.
Yeah, sounds like it. So, I mean, you do all these products. So what's Scott's favorite product?
The funny thing is, after 20 some years, I don't eat a lot of our products. I've gotten pretty stale to it. I mean, I'm not a big carb guy.
Sure.
Probably I'm more on the wheat side, or our protein bars. Even our sandwiches, which I love our sandwiches, but you get to that point where you're just like, I need a change of pace of something different. But I do like our variety, but I'm definitely a wheat guy.
Wheat, okay. Wheat bread.
Honey whole wheat, definitely.
That's the favorite.
Staple.
All right. And now what would you say is the most underrated product? Something that people will skip past, look past?
It's our honey whole wheat.
Attention. Oh, wow.
The funny thing is Great Harvest was founded in 1976 in Dillon, Montana. And the staple is the wheat bread. And so it's all natural, 5 simple ingredients. You can, when I do career days, I'll take a loaf of wheat bread, ours, and I'll take a store-bought. And one of the things I will say to kids is, if you can come in and regurgitate all the ingredients in a store-bought loaf of wheat bread, I'll give you a free sandwich or free bread a week until you graduate high school. And ours is simple. It's flour, water, salt, yeast, and honey, and that's it. That's the only things that go in our bread. So in Grand Blanc in the Genesee County, wheat is not a very strong seller. You can go to many areas, Ann Arbor, Lansing, and they'll outsell white bread all day long. But we do white bread all day. So we could do basically 5 to 1 on a daily basis in terms of our sales of white to wheat.
Wow. So wheat is the number one.
Wheat is a very slow seller.
Oh, yeah. But it's your favorite.
It's my favorite.
I mean, I grew up on wheat bread,
Yeah.
so I'm accustomed to it. It's healthier.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
I mean,
Definitely.
maybe that's why. I know a lot of Grand Blanc people try to be healthy, so
Yeah.
that's a good thing. So how do you think you get so much success in the Grand Blanc community?
I think what I like the best is I really try to be unique and different. I don't want to be like every box store business, and I'm not saying all stores are a box store, but I try to think outside of the box. What is something different? I am told many times, in the 20 some years we've been in business, we've almost given back $100,000 to the community.
Wow.
In terms of gifting, charities, things of that nature. But I'm always told, one day you're going to go out of business. You don't know what you're doing. And I kind of chuckle a little bit because of anybody, I'm probably the one person that knows my business the best. I know it the most. So I know what I can and I cannot do. But still, what I like to do is I like to think outside the box and do some things that really are rewarding for me, teach my staff. This is something that, we can do as a team. To make somebody's day, to make somebody's year. I mean, there's people that we've given back to that have been diagnosed with illnesses that were terminal. And we wanted to do everything we can just to help that person, to brighten their day, to take a load off their mind, so they can rest at ease. So I like really thinking outside the box and being locked into the community, because the community is where I'm actually from. And so I like to see the progress that goes on and be involved. I'm on some boards in the community, which I enjoy being on, and finding out what's going on in town and really throwing my name out there as much as I can to help where I can, because a lot of businesses don't do that. There are many that do, but there are also those that don't. And I think businesses can find other ways or more ways to give back, to help out, because that's basically, your community is the one that keeps you afloat, and you want to be locked in. And so that's where I tell myself I want to be locked in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, my mind's drawing a blank here for what you're saying. So it's more than just a business for you.
Yes.
It's more than just money in the bank.
It's a lifestyle. And I never knew that going in. When you start a business, especially if you're not a corporately ran franchise, let's say, and you're on your own, there's no blueprint. So there's no way for you to predict what's going to happen in year 2, 10, 5, or 15, or so on. So you basically, for me, I go with my gut instinct, and I feel like I have very good gut instincts.
21 years should say so, yeah.
Yeah, and it hasn't always been easy. Trust me, there's been times where I've been down to the last penny and wondering how I'm going to make the next dollar. And, it can be anything from construction out front to, the economy to the pandemic. But you just got to, believe in yourself and trust yourself to say, I've done this before. I tell myself I've been in these positions before. I feel after 21 years, I feel pretty good about the path of my business. I had a group meeting with franchisees throughout the state of Michigan about a week ago. And there's 13 Great Harvests in the state of Michigan. 3 of those are 20 years or older. The rest are newbies, if you want to call them, either transfers or just starting up their business within the last 10 years. They're all most of them are trying to think of variety, or how I got to do the next new thing, create new things. For me right now, and I explained in this meeting, is that I'm more trying to simplify. And what that means is I think we've created a strong presence. I think we've created a strong product line of what people are looking for. But I don't want to go dig too much deeper anymore, because once you start to do that as you get older, you're trying to throw a fishing line out and trying to hope for a bite, and it might not happen. So I'm kind of happy where we're at. I would always love more business, don't get me wrong. And I'm trying to reach out maybe to those that don't know where they're at. I get this all the time. We'll run commercials on TV and we'll get, gosh, I live just in Burton, or I live 10 miles away. Didn't even know you were here. How long you been here? 20 years. Mm-hmm. You're kidding me. I'm like, no, I've been here 20 years. We've been in the farmers market. We pulled out a couple of years ago after the pandemic, but we were there for 18 years. We were at the Davison market for 10 years. We pulled out of that as well. Just wasn't part of our mold, our makeup. We wanted to keep it more in-house. So what I'm trying to do is really simplify now and just keep what we're doing, introduce some things new and crazy here and there. A lot of breads and a lot of products are very seasonal, and people don't realize that. So, what we do in the fall, we do in the winter, we're not necessarily doing in the spring and the summer, and vice versa.
Right.
So I pretty much, after 20 years, have a strong idea of what people are looking for. And so I want to keep it that way, because right now costs are very expensive. Labor is very expensive. Mm-hmm. So if you're trying a lot of new things and you end up, we don't throw our products away. They're donated. After 3 or 4 days, all of our products are donated to the soup kitchens, or we get them to local charities. So I don't like to throw anything away. Our breads are good 7 to 10 days. There's still life on it. So I'm always just trying to think of how we can still stay afloat, be the strong bakery that we are, and make sure our customers are pleased on a daily basis.
Yeah, and help out the community. Yeah, that's awesome. So speaking of 21 years, mm-hmm. Do you see any big announcements coming up? I know you're trying to simplify, but are you thinking about franchising more, or are you staying in your hometown?
Good question. I don't know. I'm at that stage in my life where I'm still trying to now figure out my path. Mm-hmm. After doing something for so long, and I feel having success at it in terms of my personal beliefs and my lifestyle. I have 2 twin daughters that now are going to be sophomores at Michigan State. So I'm trying to figure out, where do I fit now? Do I want to maintain staying with Great Harvest, which, a part of me really does. But as I'm getting older, I'm also thinking there are other things out there that I might want to tap into, and I don't know what that is just yet. So I'm trying to reach and figure that out as I'm getting older. You realize that if you get past a certain age. And so for me, it's, I see a lot of my friends retiring, and I'm like, I don't know if I could ever retire. And then you never think you get there. I never thought I'd get to a retirement age.
Sure.
But I'm a very active person. I'm ADD, so I'm always hopping and going. I hate to sit still. I don't like, I work 7 days a week. I do not like vacations because I don't like to just sit. I want to go. And my family likes to sit and chill, go to the beach, read books, and that's just not my makeup.
A lot of people do like to do that.
A lot of people do. Trust me, I get it. I do. It's just not me. I'm not built that way, unfortunately, or fortunately, because that's what keeps me, creative. Because if you sit too long, you can become complacent, and you can just, there are a lot of people that get into the accounting side of things or the numbers, and I do those things, but I can only sit in my office for so long where I got to get up and go and do something different. I got to go to the counter, or I got to go take a delivery, or I got to do something, and I'll come back to my work. So I'm still trying to figure out where I'm going with life right now.
Yeah, well, I'm sure wherever you do, you'll have the support of Grand Blanc community. So just post it in Grand Blanc Residents Uncensored, and you'll have 1,000 followers. So But no, let's take a turn real quick. So, what's the craziest experience that you've had at your store? Whether that be a customer
You know,
or bad.
honestly, the craziest thing was probably about 10 years ago. It was right around Christmas time, and it seemed like we had the worst of luck. The power went out in Grand Blanc. It was a huge snowstorm that came through. And I think we were shut down. I think the whole community was locked in for almost a week.
I remember that storm.
And, you know, we had to figure out how do we stay afloat. And we had product. We weren't able to bake because obviously we couldn't do the ovens, but just before it happened, we had a strong bake. Because during the holidays, it was around Christmas time, it's our strongest season, it's time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So we were doing things with flashlights, figuring out how we can get stuff made without using the ovens. You know, my baker, again, my staff at the time, and I still have a couple of them with me now, they were all in. And so that's a good sense to know that, you know, I'm not in this by myself. And, you know, I get this all the time, and it's funny because my staff will tell me, I'll never forget the pandemic, is that when the governor was getting ready to decide what can stay open and what can't, we were glued in my office. My staff were sitting around, my key people were sitting around the computer just waiting to hear what she was going to say, because in my mind, I truly felt if we were going to have to shut down, it was done. I felt there's just no way you lose your people, they have to look for jobs, or you just can't stay afloat financially.
Right.
When we found out we could stay afloat, it was a sigh of relief from my side. And I think what he had to do with my troops, I think we're excited about being open. However, we're fearful about the unknown. Because everyone was saying, people were saying, you know, if you catch this COVID thing, it could be done. I mean, there was no real what the protocol, how we're going to handle this. And all you heard was gloom and doom and dying and people.
Oh, yeah.
It was horrible, as you know. So I decided that I'm just going to do everything I can to help the community. And we gave away, oh my goodness gracious, I can't even remember the numbers, but we were giving away 250, 300, 400, 500 sandwiches, it seems like every other day, to the hospitals, or,
wow.
You know, in Genesee County, to Hurley, to McLaren, to the police officers, to the EMTs. And, you know, people, I was posting, come in here, and, you know, if you're an EMT or a person in the doctor or the medical field, or the, you know, the fire or the force, product is on us, you know, because they were the ones out there doing everything without the known as well. They were the ones putting their lives on the line. And my staff kind of looked at me like, you're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? You know, they didn't, and I told them, guys, you just have to trust this. You have to trust this. And it took a while, but once they did, and you got them not to buy in, but to believe it as well. And we had no idea how to operate in the store. You know, they were telling you certain things, but there was no one coming in to check to say, you know, this is how it has to look. I mean, everything you saw was through the television or what you could read or look up to find out how to operate. You know, the 6-foot rule. And we'd go to, you know, 3 people in the store at a time, 1 person in the store at a time,
yeah.
curb service, I'll do delivery. It was whatever we could do to stay open. And I think after a while, you know, you'd get somebody that would sniff or a cough, and everybody would stop.
Yeah, I remember that time.
Stay away, 8 feet, 10 feet. And, you know, so that was crazy as well, because there was just no knowing. Mm-hmm. You know, you just, again, you had to have that instinct, a gut instinct as a leader, I guess, and someone that believes that, okay, I'm going to do, and I told my staff, I said, guys, listen, here's the deal. You tell me what you need in order to feel safe. Because a lot of people wanted to jump ship, and I can get it. You know, you didn't want to get sick. You know, my wife is a teacher, and she was staying home. My kids were staying home.
Right.
Everything was done by Zoom. Well, not yet. So, and we were, you know, we were those workers that had to go to a facility to work. I mean, that's how we make our money. We're face to face.
Right.
So I asked them, what do you need to feel safe? I'll do whatever you need. And so I wrote down every demand they asked for. And I said, okay, this is how we're going to operate. You guys set the guidelines. Now you feel comfortable with this. And I got them to believe it and understand it and accept their own beliefs, because, like I said, I'm sure they had doubts still. And that's just kind of how we went with it. And I think, I don't think any of my staff ever got COVID. I think near the end, 1 or 2 got a mild case of it. I never got it. But, you know, it was just a protocol that we did on our own, and it was successful, thankfully.
Yeah, that is a crazy story, and it also is a good story at the same time.
Crazy time.
So that's awesome. Yeah, so I have a surprise for you. I didn't tell you about this, but you brought me a kind gift of food, but I actually stopped by your store this morning, and we're going to do a little taste test.
Please help yourself.
All right, so audio listeners, it's going to be loud for a second. All right.
So you can take a look at the box of what I got you first if you're going to add to that.
Or do you want to try some of this too?
No. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I can get to that later.
Just open it up.
Sure. Oh, I didn't grab one of these. There's 4 of them. I was like, what's so heavy?
And in the bag. So there's 2 things in there. So you might pull out that bar and try that bar in your taste test. That's my favorite right there. You asked me earlier.
This is his favorite. Coconut. Oh, Coconut Joy.
Protein bar.
I'm allergic to coconut.
Yeah.
You hear me?
What's
I'm
that?
allergic to coconut.
Oh, are you?
No, I'm just kidding.
I thought you were going to say something like that. I'm like, going, oh, I hope he's not.
No, thank God I'm not. But so I guess while I'm taking time to open this, can you tell us? Do you have any like gluten-free and healthy options?
Well, all of our breads, and actually in that bag too is a list of all of our products that we do in terms of our breads and the nutritional. I mean, all of our products are healthy options. And I'm going to only say this until you get to the sweets, the cookies, the muffins, the scones, the cinnamon rolls. But in terms of our breads, and our bars, they're pretty much right on par to what people are looking for in terms of health options.
You're gonna try some too.
No.
You have to.
No.
You got to try a bite for the pot. I got to see a bite of something.
I don't even know what you got. To tell you the truth.
Well, a couple people recommended some things. So someone recommended a Dillon cookie.
Dillon cookies. It's a cookie that we have that's named after where we were found, which is Dillon, Montana, and it's a chocolate oatmeal walnut cookie. Chocolate chips, walnut, oatmeal.
Right. Which one do you want to try?
I'll try the protein bar.
Protein bar?
Yeah.
All right, you want to grab a piece of that real
Sure.
quick? All right. So you don't have to try everything. I guess I'll try it. And
I'll be honest with you. I have a very strict diet.
okay.
That's how I eat. So, it's funny because people say, like, I've never had one of our cinnamon rolls. I've never had a cookie.
That's
I've
gonna
never
be
had a
clickbait.
scone.
That's gonna be
Yeah,
clickbait.
it seems like you got a cannoli over there. I never had a cannoli, and people say, well, how do you know it's good? And one thing is I make all my predictions every single day on what to bake the next day because I close my store every single day. And I know it sells. And so when I do my numbers and I get, I'm in my store every day. I look at myself as not just the owner, but I'm an employee of the business.
Sure.
One thing my dad taught me was in the beginning, I worked in the store all the time. And he was telling me, Scott, you can't always be an employee and work in the store because you won't see the whole picture. Because you obviously, when you work in a store like that, you have one job and one job only, or you might have a couple jobs, but you're focused on just those things and you miss the rest of what's going on around you. So after about, I think it might have been year 5, year 4, right in that ballpark, my baker, Chad, I'll never forget, my production person quit. And you gotta understand, our production crew gets in there about 3 a.m. every day. These
Wow.
guys knock it out. I have 2 people, and they knock it out. These other guys are just a killer team, Sydney and Chad. And I was by myself, and my person quit, and I'm like, I gotta keep this going. So I was baking, and Chad walks in out of the blue in the morning. It might have been like 4 or 5 in the morning, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "So and so didn't show up," and he dug in and started helping me. And this kid now at this point was probably, he just graduated, probably in his real early 20s, and he and I developed a very strong relationship. And I saw his work ethic, I saw his style of his goals, and I turned it over to Chad. And so Chad now is the head baker. I have 3 people that are key in my position. All my people are key, but I have a customer service manager, which is Tammy. I have my head baker is Chad, and then I have a catering manager, which is my guy Dave, who's been with me about 8 years. But from that point on, I stepped out. And so what when I interview people, I tell people I don't micromanage. I hire adults. I expect them to do their jobs. I don't look over their shoulders. I'm walking around all the time. I'll be the first to help out. I'll be the first when we're slamming, hop at the counter. But I have a job to do too. And so I'm outside of the store more and more now, getting out in the community, getting my name known out there, get Great Harvest out there, being part of other things so we can draw that business in while relying on my key people to keep the business going.
Right.
That's what they do. They're the ones at the counter. They're the ones at the helm helping out, doing things that they got to get done. I never will step on their toes until I'm needed. So meaning if there's a problem or an issue, and I tell them I always have an open door policy with, hey, got a problem, come talk to me. I'd rather get this squashed, taken care of now than let it linger and fester and be infected so we can get this done and move forward again. I look at my team, we have a small staff of 8. Pre-pandemic, we were at 14, so we've all taken on more roles. But I think that's also a good thing because our jobs can be very boring at times. It's repetitious over and over. But the more I give my people to do something outside of their comfort zone, it also creates value for them to do things that they thought they never could, but also in trust that they can do things that are like, wow, I didn't know that was possible, and they've gained more experience in something. So, that's key to I feel in the success too, is to let my guys do their thing. So when they bake something and then they'll say, Scott, have you tried this? I'm like, no, I haven't, but I know my guys have because I'll ask them. They love it, and that's fine. That's what they want to do. But I see people, we have a cutting board up front, and you can try anything you want when you come in for free. So, I'm always slicing things and giving it to customers, and I'm like, your first response is, well, how'd you like that? What did you think about that? So you're getting feedback. It wasn't that good. Let's think about that.
And you take Jot and you note that.
There you go. And you sit down with Chad and we break it down. And there's his role. Let's break it down, Chad. There's not enough cinnamon, or there's not enough cheese in that bread. What do we got to do?
Sure.
So you're incorporating their previous experiences with things, and that's how we're creating our products too.
So yeah, after 21 years of that feedback, we get the perfect products for the community.
Yeah, you try to nail it.
Almost.
Yeah,
There'll always be people who complain.
It's not. Yeah, you're always gonna get that, and that's fine. People will talk about pricing and they'll talk about size, but everybody has their own opinion. Yeah. And if they choose to come, that's great. If they want to be a return, we look at our stores as Cheers, the sitcom Cheers. We want to know everybody's name. We got customers that come in every day. They get the same products. They sit in the same places. And then we get those people that come in maybe once a month or they've never been there. But we want to try to make it a very family, very fun atmosphere. Music's playing. We're very casual, laid back. My strength in corporate life was customer service. And I took everything I knew about customer service and everything I hated about customer experiences, and I try to make sure that those don't happen in my store, that it's a different place when you come in that's not like any other. I think that's what creates the excitement or the feeling of family or, the environment that's playing, inside our store.
Definitely attention to detail. And speaking of detail, let's try this. So
I love it.
We have Scott trying something from his own bakery.
I love it. And you're gonna need a glass of water.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Coconut Joy protein bar. I recommend that. So before workout, after workout.
So we have 5 different bars in our store. We have 2 style granola bars, which are a Trek bar and a banana walnut Trek bar. And they're more along the line of if you're gonna go hiking. Like when I travel a lot, or I want to go to California, which is a 4-hour flight, and I can't always stop and get something to eat. They're very filling. We get a lot of people that come in that are sales reps or teachers or whatever, and they can't get to a meal, so they quarter cut it, and it's very filling. Okay, so it's something we do long term. I work out every single day, and this is why I like our protein bars, because we do 3 different protein bars throughout the week. We do the Coconut Joy, peanut butter, and it's called Chunky Monkey, which is chocolate, banana, and walnut. Our protein bars have roughly about 28 grams of protein per bar, which is higher than most. But again, they're all natural. There's nothing artificial in our bars. So the protein bars are something like I would take when I'm going to work out.
Sure.
Half a bar before, maybe a quarter when I'm working out.
With a glass of milk or protein shake.
Yeah, so those are why, and we do a lot of them.
Oh yeah, I could see why. The peanut butter, you definitely need a whole bottle of water. So if you're gonna try these protein bars, make sure you have some water with you. We didn't think about that. But all right, just to wrap things up, I'm just gonna have a couple questions from the community.
Definitely.
So Grand Blanc residents had some questions for you specifically, so we'll just go through these real quick. And Yeah, so to start off, Lori asks, what gives you the sense, or what drives your giving and sense of supporting your community?
You know, again, I've been asked this many times. I think one of the greatest answers to this is the feeling you get when you do something for somebody. It's it's unbelievable. It's off the charts. And to see someone's reaction,
Right.
I'll never forget when I gave a large sum of money to somebody that we did a fundraiser for, and their jaw dropped and tears are coming down their face, and you're just like, and they're like, "You're serious?" And I'm like, we are serious. But also when we do those things, it's just not me giving money back. It's the community coming together to realize that there's somebody in need or a cause that we want to take care of as a group, that let them know they're not alone. So that feeling of gratification, excuse me, is unbelievable. It's just so powerful. And so that's why I enjoy doing it so much.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that heart and the heart-to-heart feeling.
But it is. It's amazing.
All right, well, so Ron asks, he asked a very interesting question. He was saying, can you make a grilled cheese stuffed bread? He wants to know if you can make it so people can slice it and throw it on the pan real quick. And he was getting, I didn't write this down, but he was getting really into it, like tomato flavoring and
I'm not
custom
sure what you
batches.
might be looking for. I mean, we do a lot. We do a cheese bread every day. One
Okay.
of our most popular is white cheddar garlic, and there are chunks of cheddar cheese in the bread.
And you can just toss that on a...
You can. It makes great grilled cheese. It's great with soup, salads, steaks, fish. If you want it by the slice, or if you want to grill it up. We also do, like today, and I was going to bring it. We did a potato cheddar bread, which is awesome. Chunks of yellow cheddar in there. Again,
pair
same
good
thing.
with some soup.
Oh, fantastic. So we do that. Again, breads are seasonal. So what I'm doing this month, I might not be doing next month. A lot of people come in and they'll say, well, why don't you do this? And again, it's a seasonal bread maybe. Or, I try to go after when I hear something over and over, a request for something, or I try to make sure I remember that, and then I try to make sure we do it when it's time's right.
Right. So, Ron, there is
There
grilled
is.
cheese bread.
It's a huge seller too.
And that he can stop by
Every Thursday throughout the year.
every Thursday throughout the whole year. So, Ron, come get your bread
There you
Thursday.
go.
All right. Sean asks, I know you answered this, but Sean asks, do you bake from scratch or use mixes?
No, we bake from scratch.
You're against mixes.
We're against mixes. We do, we use yeast. We have a sourdough. We use our own sourdough starter. Like I told you in a honey whole wheat, it's 5 simple ingredients. Our bars that you see, there's no mixes in there. Again, it's just peanut butter, oats. It's gonna be protein powder, coconut, and cocoa.
Right.
So, very simple ingredients.
Right. So there you go, Sean. And then I think someone's trying to get their hands on your recipe because Janice asks how much cinnamon is in each cinnamon. I don't know if she's asking the grams or
There's probably about 3/4 of a cup,
a 3/4 a cup.
roughly.
Okay.
Yeah.
But she cannot steal the recipe.
You want? Hey, $35,000. I'll give you all the recipes you want.
You got
That's the
it.
franchise fee.
You got it. All right. And Michael wants to know how important are the team members to the success of Great Harvest?
Oh, there's no words, honestly. They're one of the biggest reasons why I'm in business today. They're loyal, dedicated. It stuns me that some of my people have stayed so long, and I don't mean that in a negative way. They have a passion for what they do, and I love that. I was very fortunate to find some amazing people. It's not easy to do. I was just recently posting a job. It's been on there for about almost 2 months now, a full-time position, way above minimum wage, interviewing many people, but just I knew they wouldn't work out. There's a lack sometimes right now for people that want to have dedication to what they do.
And long term.
I don't look for job hoppers. It's just not who we are. They're in it for the wrong reasons then. So our interview process is very, very rigid and very, very, it's lengthy. It can be lengthy. But you want to make sure you get that right person because you don't want to, we do a lot of training and, we put a lot of time into it and my people are right there along with it and do it. And, for somebody to train for so long and you're paying them and all of a sudden for them to leave, it just...
Money down the drain.
It's tough.
Yeah, I get that. 2 last questions here. These are just from me. What advice do you have to the upcoming generation about starting business, entrepreneurship, students?
It's one of the biggest things that I think a lot of people have lost, and not everybody, but one that you see is work ethic. You know, COVID killed the worker, I believe. And when I say that, it's because everything now is so technology based, and people are so to their phones or their computers that they've lost that sense of socialization, eye to eye, face to face, having a conversation, be able to talk to somebody, shaking your hand. You know, when you go to an interview, dressing appropriately. You know, it's funny because we just did like I said, we were looking to hire, and I was going through so many resumes, maybe 40, 50 resumes. How many people don't go back and redo their resume? You know, they'll start out by saying, looking for a career in the health industry, and they're applying for a job at a bakery. You know, and I'm going, okay, how long are you going to be here again? You know, so they just have lost that sense of, you know, and it's funny because I think about this. If you're the right person, you know, I have certain things that I look for in a person. Job is yours. You know, it's not that hard. One biggest questions I ask in an interview is, tell me what you know about me, or tell me what you know about our store. And I laugh because 99% of people out there looking for a job have access to a phone or a computer. It takes 5 minutes to look up Great Harvest Grand Blanc, and there's so many things out there that you can regurgitate from the franchise industry, because you could find out who the franchise is, to who we are, Facebook or whatever. You know, we post all the time, but they fail to do it, and I'll get things like, you guys bake bread?
Sure.
Oh, your sandwiches are good. You know, there's just, and I'm like, you know, it's like you're forcing them to work.
Right. There got to be an interest.
There's got to be an interest, you know, just fake it, you know.
Sure,
we have to work.
least.
We all have to work somewhere. You got to start somewhere, and there's opportunities out there. But I think people don't grasp and take advantage of, you know, because they're not taught anymore, and that's the problem. I think there's a lack there. And I don't want to get into certain issues, but I think, you know, if you really want it bad enough, you can achieve it.
So for the upcoming generation, just to get your work ethic.
Yeah. Yes,
Gotcha.
Definitely.
Gotcha. And to end this here, I just heard about, you know, you donated money to that family who had the house fire earlier this year. So just finish off and just tell us a little more about that.
You know, I saw it on Facebook, and then I saw an interview with the lady that lost her home, the family. And it was a single mom with, I believe it was 4 kids. And anytime I see something of that nature, I think first of how would I feel if that was me? You know, how would I react? Would people reach out to me, and, you know, whether it be a tragedy, a death, or something? But I'm thinking, where do they go? They're lost. They just lost everything.
Right.
You know, you got a family of 4 kids, and, you know, they're being displaced in other places now, or wherever they're going to find their home for a while. And again, like I said, I have the ability, because I'm fortunate to have a business. I know what my bottom line is. I know my profit margins, so I know what I can and cannot do. And so I figure out, okay, how can I take not really a hit, but how can I sacrifice a little to give to somebody else so that they have?
Sure.
And so what we did was we did a simple fundraiser between taking a percentage of our sales for a week. I think it might have been longer, 10 days, and put a bucket out front. And I think we raised maybe $3,000, something in that nature.
Wow.
And then I made sure through the rest of the year they could have cookies and bread for the family, because I knew they had kids. I thought cookies would be a great idea, and whatever loaf of bread they want. I think I gave them a loaf of bread a week or a month for a year, something like that.
Wow, that's awesome.
Just to help out. But like I said, it's something that might have been so small to me in terms of, you know, but huge to somebody else, because somebody made their day, in a sense, or a little lighter, so they didn't just stress or worry so much.
And even if it was $300, I'm pretty sure the kindness went more than that. The money.
You know, it is what it is. You try to do the best you can, and you know, like I said, we are fortunate to get a lot of customers that stepped up and wanted to help and make a difference, which was great. But you know, I think what I have at least the tool, because Facebook for us, social media is very strong for our store, and so we have a lot of amazing customers. And they, you know, I had customers coming in wanting to give $300-400.
Wow.
Which, you know, or more, you know, and you just kind of, you're blown away by the generosity of some people. You know, you might see them maybe once a month or a couple times a year, but you know, there are a lot of people out there that want to give back, just don't know how to.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. That was Scott from Great Harvest Bread Co. We'll see you on the next one.